Hello. Welcome to yoga. Today's focus is going to be about creating space. So the space can be mental space, physical space, emotional space, what kind of space you need in your body. We're going to start on our backside. If you happen to have yoga blocks at home, you need one or two. If you don't, I can make it work. You can make it work. Starting on your backside, if you don't have a yoga block, you can grab like a folded towel. You're going to place your block or towel below your sacrum. And then just allow your arms to come out to the sides. Feet are on the floor. This is a supported bridge. It's a nice way to begin a yoga session, to allow yourself to feel where in your body you'd benefit from having a little bit more space, and where in your body you want to just relax and soften. So we lie here taking some complete breaths in and out your nose. Perhaps thinking of something in your life that's cluttering your mind. It might be guilt or a to-do list or any burden. And use that next exhalation to let it go. And then you inhale that peaceful space that's left. So we exhale any burdens. And we inhale into the belly, into the front of the hips, into the front of the shoulders, into whatever part of your body needs a little extra attention. Place your hands now by your sides and push them down into the mat so you can lift your hips up into a low bridge and take your block out of the way. Lower your hips, bring your knees into your chest, and just roll on your back a little bit from side to side. You might get a little pop out of your spine. That's a good thing. Lower your feet back down to the earth. Bring your hands down and just simply reach your arms up towards the ceiling, as though you're painting a rainbow, and then bring your hands to the floor behind you with the palms facing up. Inhale, arms come up overhead, and then exhale, float them down beside your hips. Perhaps we're going to add the hips to this, the moving bridge. Float your hips and your arms up overhead. Your palms come down, facing up, and then slowly reach for the ceiling and lower your hips. It's not a big deal if they don't coordinate, but if it works out, allow your hips and your hands to softly lower at the same time. You might want to take the one block you have and place it between your thighs to make sure your inner thighs are activated and turned on, and your knees stay about hip socket distance apart during this flow. You might take your awareness to your upper back. This offers a little bit of a massage there. So if it feels good in a certain tight space in your upper traps, your mid traps, you could just stay there for a little bit. That's a joy of a home practice. Stop at the video if you want to and keep going with this, or just pause where you need to. The next time you lower, let your hips and your hands come down. Take the block out of the way and bring your knees into your chest. You're going to circle your knees kind of randomly, organically. Just let one knee go in one direction and the other in the other direction, making space in your hips and your back, and then reverse the circle of your knees. So just go the other way with each knee. Loosen up. Bring both knees into your chest. Bring your chin up to meet your knees, and this is creating space in the back side of the spine. Lower your head, lower your hands and feet, and back into Setu Bandhasana, the bridge pose, to create space in the front of your spine. Ideally, this sequence is done without turning your head, just because I want to keep my cervical spine neutral here. Lower your hips. Exhale, draw your chin to your chest, your knees to your forehead, space in the back of your spine. This time, lower your head and just drop your knees to the right side of your body so you can push yourself up to a seated position. Extend your legs out in front of you into Dandasana. Bring your hands behind you and open your chest. This is a place we want to really work on space a lot because it gets crammed up from daily life. Just bounce your knees, let everything go. Hold your stick pose. Extend your ankles. You're just making space in the front of your ankle. Flex, so you make space in the back in the Achilles tendon area. Just point and flex. Plantar flexion, dorsiflexion. Just allowing a lot of space in the ankle joint. Now rotate your ankles, keeping the thighs firm, and try to maintain the space in the front of the body. As we're rotating the ankles, go the other way. As we're rotating the ankles, just take some deep breaths into the front of the body. Exhale, soften without collapsing. Bring your right knee into your chest. Give yourself a helping hand, interlace your hands, and a little assist to come out of the flexion of your spine into a lengthened spine. You might want a yoga strap, but you don't have to. Lift your right foot up off the floor. Take your left hand to your right outer toes. If that doesn't work, you can use a strap or just grab it a different way. You can keep that knee bent. Take your right hand and reach it to the front of your mat. Twist to the right. Follow your right hand until it twists all the way back until it naturally wants to stop. Now maybe, it's just a maybe straighten up your right leg and get more space in your hamstring. If that doesn't work, you can keep your knee bent. Bend your right knee, untwist yourself. Give your leg an assist to stretch out and float down. Left knee to chest. This assist is for space in your spine. Draw the head of the arm bones back. Crown of head up. Base of skull up. Take your right hand to the outer left foot, and it doesn't have to ever straighten. If you want to keep it bent, that's okay. Left hand is going to reach into a twist, and I'm just going to say stop when it feels like a good place to stop, and maybe work towards straightening that leg. If it feels like that's too much, you just soften it a little bit. Inhale, crown of head up. Exhale, little micro twist further. Untwist yourself. Extend legs, swing around, and come onto an all-fours position, onto your hands and knees. Exhale into your mad cat. We're only doing one. There's a space in the back of the body. Inhale into a cow. And now exhale into neutral. Turn your belly on. Take your left arm and reach it to the left. Reach your left arm up to the ceiling like you're painting a rainbow. Lower it down, and we're going to do the same thing with the right, finding the mobility and the space in the vertebrae. Right arm reaches up, and right arm comes down. Left arm, reach up. This time we're going to thread it underneath. Take your left hand, thread it under your right, bring the back left corner of your skull to the mat. And now you got this lovely space across the back of the body. If you have a neck issue, you can keep your right hand right on the floor for support. If you want to try the lift your right arm and let it drape behind you. This is called a half bind in yoga, where you don't grab anything and the arm's just hanging there. Reach your right arm up. Put your right hand back in front of your nose, and then you can press yourself back up to an all-fours position. Right arm reaches up, painting that half circle, and then thread your right arm underneath your left. Come to the back right corner of your skull. This hand can stay here. Your left hand can give you more support here. If you want the bind or the lift your left arm up, drop it behind you, and maybe turn your head to look up. Feeling that leverage you get, the opening in your shoulders, your spine, your neck. Take the arm down, put it in front of your nose, and push yourself up. Coming back into your tabletop pose. Curl your toes, lift your hips into a bent knee down dog. The bend of the knees gives some more space to the spine. Straighten out one leg you pick, and this is going to give some more space into your calf. Switch. Lower to your knees. Lie down on your left side. So you come to your left hip and your left forearm. Real easy. Just let this hang like a hammock. So the left side of your body is just relaxed, hanging. Bring your left ear to your left shoulder. Take your right arm up and just let it swing over. Bring the right arm back. Put your right arm wherever you want it. Could be here, could be here. And feel all that space in the bottom side and your left side between each of those rib cages. Just feel that space. Feel the space in the side of the neck. And again, your arm is wherever you want it. Press yourself up. Extend your right leg out so it's like a Janu Shirshasana leg. And bring your left arm up and over into a side bend. Now we have a lot of space here in this side body. Bring your left arm up, left hand to the floor. Hoist yourself up into a variation of Ardha Chandrasana, half moon on your knee. So my right hand's under my right shoulder, right knee's on the mat, left arm's reaching up. Float your hips back down, Janu legs, left arm up, side bend flow. Inhale up, hand and knee down, other arm up, and you can do what you want to do with your arm. It could be on an angle, it could be up, it could be in that half bind. Lower your hips, we flow one more time. Breathe in, and breathe out. Breathe in, and breathe out. Take your legs out in front of you in your stick pose. Bounce your legs. Baddha Konasana, bring the soles of the feet together. They're externally rotated now. Breathe in, let your shoulders come up. Breathe out, encourage your shoulders to come down. Extend your left leg out. Come on to your right side. So we're doing that same hammock-like posture here. I'm on my right elbow, my right hip, and there's the space. Feel like this is just a restful hammock. Let your head hang. Get that stretch and the extra space in this side of your neck. The left arm can rest here. It can flop behind you. It could reach up. Explore what feels good. When you're doing a home practice, sometimes it's easier to allow yourself to just be a little more creative, a little more intuitive to where you want to put your limbs. Breathe, stretch, release. Press yourself back up to that Janu Shirshasana leg. Inhale, right arm up, and then exhale into your side bend. Inhale up. Place your right hand and your right knee down, and your left arm comes again to where you want it. We're going to do that flow 2 more times. Inhale, up and over. Side body long. Exhale, side body strong. Strong side body, strong core. One more round. I'm going to be quiet for this one. So you can stay with your breath. Choose your arm position. Lower down and come into Baddha Konasana. Shoulders up, shoulders down. Swing your legs around. Come on to all fours. Curl toes, lift hips, downward facing dog. Bend both knees. Allow the back of the heart to soften down so you have a lot of space in the front of your body now. So you're hammocking in the space between your shoulder blades, your mid-back. Walk your feet forward to the front edge of your mat. Push down your feet and circle both arms up. Bring your hands to your heart. Press into your heart to lift. Sink back into chair pose. Extend your arms and hold. So this posture can be a lot about strength, but it also is space. Our space here in your calves, hopefully space in your back. This is not creating so much space, but hopefully space in your back here. Reach your sits bones down, and then in this out counter pose, reach your fingertips forward. Counter stretch. Fingers up, sits bones down. Bring your hands to your hips. Lift up your right leg. I'm going to mirror you so it's not as confusing. Lift up your right leg so you're like in a one-legged mountain. Open your right leg to the side and then take it to the back, and you're going to come into a reverse warrior with your left leg forward. Left leg's forward, left arm's up, right foot pushes down. We're going to repeat this side again. Put all the weight into your front foot and come back into your chair. I know it was a tricky transition, just floating as comfortably as you can. Bring your right leg up again. Come back into reverse warrior. This time we add on into your side angle. Hand or elbow to your front knee. Your top arm can reach up. It can reach on an angle, or it can do your half bind. So today's practice, you can explore what gives you more of a space opportunity in your side angle. Come back into your reverse warrior. Root down your front foot, because the weight's got to go here so this leg can come off the ground. Spring your back leg up and sit back into your chair. Okay, we've got a third round. Same side. Same side. Come back into reverse warrior. Now feel that space between your front armpit and your front hip. Keep it there as we come into side angle. Keep that space. Sometimes when we go to the floor, we lose that space. You still can go to the floor if you'd like to, or to a block, but we want to maintain the space on the bottom side. Your arm choice. We're going to go into Trikonasana. I like a little smaller stance for triangle. Come on into a Trikonasana. Slide your bottom hand up a little bit, because we're going for space and not for depth. A high triangle. Take your top hand, drop it behind you. Full bind would be grabbing your bottom thigh. Half bind would be letting it hang. Turn your head to look up. Feel your bottom rib roll up to the ceiling. Now turn your head to look down towards your bottom toe. Reverse your triangle. So that arm just comes up. Put weight into your front foot and come back into chair pose. Separate your feet. Inhale into a back bend. Exhale, standing forward fold. Inhale, come halfway up. Bend your knees and step back into down dog. We're just taking that flow, a C or an A sun salutation. Inhale into plank. Lower yourself to the mat. Lift yourself into a cobra. Lower to the mat. Push the earth away. Come into a bent knee down dog. We'll get to that straight knee soon, but let the space between your heart hammock down, opening the front of the body. Look forward, step or jump up. Bring your feet a little closer together and come into your chair pose. We're doing the second side. Lift your left leg. Step your left leg back so your front right arm reaches up into your reverse warrior. Great opportunity here to feel that space between your front hip and your front armpit. Your back hand can glide to wherever it wants to go. Push down into your front foot and come back into chair pose. Push down into both feet. Come into a little back bend so the front of the body gets the space here. Back into chair pose, maintain that space. Push into your front right foot. Left leg goes back. Reverse warrior. Breathe. Adding on side angle. Place your hand on your knee or elbow on your knee, or it can go down, but we want to keep that space on the bottom side. Roll your rib up towards the ceiling, your bottom rib. Look wherever you want to look. Put your hand, arm, wherever you want it. Reverse your warrior. Push into your front foot, float your back leg up, and come back into your chair. One more add-on. Lift your back leg, your left leg. Open up into reverse warrior. Side angle. Your choice for your arm. Tick-tock your back foot in just a little bit to come into a high Trikonasana triangle. Rotate your neck to look up. Take your top arm into a bind. This is half bind. That's full bind. Pick one and roll your ribs up towards the ceiling. Root down your feet and bring your front arm into a reverse triangle. Put the weight into your front foot, bend your knee, and come back into chair pose. Inhale, we're going to take a flow, an A-series sun salutation. If you would prefer to rest in mountain pose or in down dog, feel free to do that. Here's our down dog. You can take a lengthened knee this time. Plank. You can take chaturanga or the mat. Cobra or up dog. Space in the front. Exhale, down dog. Bend your knees, step or jump to the front of your mat. Let's hang here. Bend your knees, let your head drop. So with the soft knees, the back can flex and you give yourself lots of opportunity for space there. Start to slowly roll your way up, stacking your vertebrae one at a time. Eventually coming back into Tadasana. Tadasana with your feet a little closer. Hug in. Lift up your right leg. Externally rotate it and place it wherever you choose for your tree. We're going to do a little challenge today, so this is fine. Foot to the floor, calf or thigh. Circle arms up. And again, possibilities for the arms. Bent, V, straight, interlace. Pick which gives you more space. The straight interlace is going to give you more side body length. The lower the arm, the more space you'll have in the front of the chest. Maybe you could maintain it all, but pick which one gives you more space. Willow. Take a deep breath in and get taller, and then your tree is going to bend towards your top knee, towards your right. Maybe your hips are going to even jet off to the left a little bit. To challenge your balance, if you want that, rotate your neck to look under your top arm. When you change your focus, it does challenge your balance more. If your neck's rotated, look forward, come on up, and float your limbs down. Back into Tadasana. Root down. So in tree pose and in the next posture we're going to do, that standing rooted leg doesn't move. Float your other leg up, your left leg, externally rotate and place where you choose. So this tree trunk leg, solid. Arms in your choice. Lengthen spine, side body long, neck long. Breathe into your willow. Maybe if you feel steady, if your tree feels wobbly and you want to just try to find the steadiness, keep looking forward. If you feel like rotating your neck to look under your top armpit, go ahead. If that makes you fall over, you can look forward. Unrotate, circle limbs down, and come back into Tadasana. We're going to put that willow tree into a balanced sequence. Come to the front of your mat. It's doable. It's not easy, but it's definitely doable. You might want to block, although that's not going to make it easier. It's going to take you down a little deeper. I'm going to show you real quick the pose we're going to flow into. From tree, we're going to float into a floating Ardha Chandrasana. You could have your toe on the floor. That totally counts. My body's here. It's in the same space. It's just lower. Or you can float it up higher to floating, or you could float it to a block, or of course you can come to the floor. All those are Ardha Chandrasana. Okay, come to the front edge of your mat. Lift your right leg. Place your right foot anywhere in tree pose. Circle arms up. Willow tree to the right. Lift up and over to your right leg, your lifted leg. Come on back to the center.
and take your right leg behind you. So now we are in this Ardha Chandrasana floating half moon. Looking down is the easiest place to find your balance. If you want to rotate your neck to look forward or to look up, that will challenge your balance, especially if your mic gets in your way. Gaze at one thing, not moving. Untwist yourself and come into a variation of Warrior 3 like an airplane. Your arms are like a jet airplane, your legs straight back. Lift your heart, come into a high lunge. High lunge, Ardha Chandrasana, regular lunge. Circle your arms down and bring your hands to the floor. Sometimes this is called runner's lunge. I'm going to demonstrate with a block, but you don't have to have one. Block on right hand on blocker floor. Left hand reaches. Twist up and around. Bring your top shoulder blade towards your spine. Untwist. Look back at the floor. We twist one more time. Twist up and around. Untwist. Look back towards the floor. Step your back foot to the front of your mat. Push your feet down and circle both arms up. Breathe in. Looking up. Breathe out. Bring your hands to your heart. Tadasana. Vrikshasana. Lift up your left leg. Place your left foot where you want it. Place your arms where you want it. Tree pose. Weeping willow. Up and over toward your lifted leg. Keep your gaze probably out in front of you, so your eyes are focused. When your eyes are steady, your body follows. Floating Ardha Chandrasana. So take that top leg and just float it behind you. Maybe your top toe wants to touch the floor like a little kickstand. That's still working. The standing leg is key. It hasn't moved. It's rooted down. Maybe you want to come a little further down. Maybe you want to hit your block. We're coming into Warrior 3, where your pelvis spins to face the floor. Your arms are just going to jet airplane back, like an airplane pose. Reach your right leg back and your arms up. And we're in our high lunge. Circle arms up. Circle arms down to a low runner's lunge, sliding the back heel down. Left hand to blocker floor, right hand reaches to the side, and rotate up. Your front knee's right on top of your front ankle. Rotate down. Rotate up, breathe in. And breathe out. Soften your front knee. Step your back foot to the front of your mat. Push your feet down and circle both arms up. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, close your hands at your heart center. Allow your arms to soften knees, and you just take a twist, a flowy twist, or a drink of water. Bring that motion to a stop. We're going to combine the first and second sequence we did today. So starting at the top of your mat, bring your feet together, sink down into fearless pose, chair pose. Bring your arms back, feel that space in the calves. Inhale, lift your right leg up. Externally rotate, warrior, reverse warrior. Reverse warrior. Extended side angle. Although you get to do whatever you want with your arm, technically this is extended, but if you want a different arm position, go for it. A high version of triangle. Lift up into a high version so we maintain that space. Bind or half bind. Rotate your neck to look up. Rotate your neck to look down. We're going to add on to this sequence. Look forward, hold, and let your head hang. So your nose is facing forward, but you've got a lot of space on your top side here of the neck. An extra neck stretch. Now rotate your neck to look down. Look towards your big toe. Reverse your triangle. Bring your front arm up and keep your half bind. Put the weight into your front foot, float your back foot up, and come back into your chair. Right into the second side. Lift up your back left leg. Reverse warrior. Breathe in. Create that space in your front side. Next breath out. Extended side angle. Your choice of your arm position. Here, here, here. Find your breath. Tic-tac your back foot in. High Trikonasana. Bring your arm to bind or half bind. Turn to look up. Rotate your neck upward. Rotate your neck down. Good opportunity to make sure your knee is tracked over the center of your toes. Turn your head to look straight forward and just let your right ear drop to your right shoulder so the top side of your neck is getting a nice stretch. Nice lazy head. Your head's very heavy, so that pressure that it puts on the neck is released here with this length. Bring your head back before you come up. Turn to look down towards your front big toe. Lift your front arm into reverse warrior, reverse triangle. Bend your knee a little. Step your back foot to the front, and we come back into chair pose. Reach, feel that length, the space between your armpits and your hips, between your shoulders and your fingers. Inhale, standing back bend, and we take that A-series Surya Namaskar flow. Exhale into your forward fold. Inhale, lift your chest. Bend your knees, step back into downward facing dog. This time, if you'd like straight knees, if that feels good on your calves, then go for it. If you like bent knees, if that feels good on your mid-spine, pick that one. Lengthen into plank. Either come to chaturanga or all the way to the mat. Cobra or up dog. Downward facing dog. Bend your knees. Step or float your feet up behind your wrists. Bring them pretty close together so the balls of the big toes are about touching. You're going to stand with all the weight in the right foot and lift up your left foot. Lift up your left knee. Come into a one-legged mountain. Externally rotate so you're in your tree. Reach up and over your left leg. So your right leg is your root now. Take your top leg back into Ardha Chandrasana. Gaze forward, half moon, floating. You could put your back toe down. You could reach for the floor, or you could stay floating. Airplane pose, variation of Warrior 3. Pull your back foot back into a high lunge. Inhale, give yourself some breath, space through the entire front of the body. Exhale, come into a runner's lunge with your left hand on a block. Right hand, come into a twist. We flow back down. And this time we flow up. Flow up. Take your top hand and drop it behind you this time. So maybe you can do a bind and reach for the opposite foot, opposite thigh, or just simply allow that shoulder to roll further and further open. Untwist all the way. Step your back foot to the front of your mat. Stay in your forward fold. So this is about creating space in the backs of the legs, backs of the hips, and the spine itself. If you feel a pull, then you're going to bend your knees. If you feel a nice length, lift your sits bones and press your femur bones back. Again, keep your knees bent if it hurts your back. Place your hands on your thighs and come up slowly. If your feet are separated, scooch them back in together. Lift up your leg. Externally rotate. Arms up, breathe in. Willow towards your right. Supporting leg rooted. Come on up. Ardha Chandrasana. Supporting leg stays strong. Gaze at something steady. Find your place. Find your float. Feel like you're that beautiful, big, full moon up in the sky. Reach and create space by pushing your back foot down or out. Internally rotate the back thigh. So now we come into that airplane arms. And then reach the back leg back, circle arms up, high lunge. Anjaneyasana. Circle arms down, lunge on the floor. Right hand to blocker floor, left hand reaches up. This is creating space in the chest, like we talked about in the beginning. Bring your top shoulder blade towards your spine. Untwist. One more movement, inhale up. And this time bind, let that arm just rest on your sacrum, dangle it, or grab something so you can push further into the twist. Bring your head back down to gaze at the floor, frame your front foot, and step forward. Head can hang, you choose. Do you want a nice, easy, floppy ragdoll here? Do you want a standing forward fold, Uttanasana, which is a little more intense? You can pick. Breathe into any openings you feel. Breathe into any restrictions you feel, anywhere along your backside. From here, you're just going to lower down to your knees. A high kneeling position. If you're on a hard floor, you might want to put a towel or something below your knees. We're going to hit some camel variations and build upon them. Of course, you don't have to do the final one if you don't want to. There is no final one. You don't have to drop back if you don't want to. Start with some support. Bring your hands to your backside so your thumb is wrapped around your pelvis, your pinky finger is touching your sacrum, your belly is lifted. I like to curl my toes because it gives a little extra space in your plantar fascia area, but that's up to you. Draw your elbows slightly towards each other, and you feel that space across your collarbones here. There's the space. Now just press your hips forward and your heart up, and breathe. Draw yourself upright. Extend your arms. Flare your fingers so you have space between each finger. You still have space between each toe, regardless of how your foot is. Inhale, creating space in the front of your body. Hold and breathe. Draw yourself back upright. We're going to take a counter pose, a child's pose. However you want your arms to be. Space in your low back and across your SI, your sacrum. Come on back up. Now you're going to choose to repeat one of those camels or drop back. Today, if you do drop back, if you take your fingers and put it on the inside of your heel, you create a two-way force, which will give you more space. So, option to stay here or here. If you're going to drop back, take one arm up and around, and then you take the fingers and push them into the heel. The heel pushes into the midline, the fingers push away. Same thing with your other hand. Fingers push out, but they're not forcing anything, they're just creating space here. Heels push in. Lift your heart. Bring your pubic bone towards your tailbone. Bring your shoulder blades towards your waist. Bring your heart towards the ceiling. Press your heels towards each other. Keep breathing. Lots of space in the front of the body. We need that space there. It gets very restricted. Reverse your arm windmill if you're down in the low position. And then float your way slowly down. I'm going to show a variation of child's pose to create space in your shoulders, particularly if you use blocks. Take your elbows to blocks or floor, and your hands rest in namaste. So this position choice is just making a little more space in your triceps, shoulders, and in your emotional state of humility. Just breathe. Draw yourself upright. You can ditch your blocks. You might want them for pigeon. Curl your toes, Ekapada Raja Kapotasana. Lift up your right leg, headed into that pigeon. Let's bend the right knee so you've got that extra quadricep stretch. Try not to dump the weight into your left arm. Lift up your left armpit. There's lots of spaces happening here. Your right quad, your left calf. Bring your right knee behind your right wrist to set up for pigeon. Curl left toes and kind of scooch them back. This is where you might choose to put the block under there. Lift your heart like you're doing camel. Feel like you're in a camel. We're not. The spine's pretty neutral, but instead of feeling like you're going to lose it here, like in Mad Cat, you want to feel more like you're in a camel pose, the top part of a pigeon. Take a deep breath in here. And then as you exhale ever so slowly, start to descend forward, keeping the heart reaching forward. So lead with your heart and not your head. Lead with your heart and not your head. Let your head follow. Walk your hands slowly over the right side, your front leg. You might want to stack up some blocks. Bring yourself to wherever you can rest here. And really breathe into that right piriformis, that deep gluteal muscle, to create some space there. Draw yourself back upright and walk your hands back to the center. All right, you could just enjoy staying here in this pigeon longer if you don't want to do what I'm going to do next. Bring your right hand to the center of the mat, bend your left knee, and maybe that's where you're going to stay. Maybe take the hand to the inside of the foot. So your foot is pushing into your hand and hand is pushing into your foot, just like we did in the camel option. So that shoulder's getting an opening, the quadriceps getting an opening. Release, and come either into a down dog or a tabletop. You do want to let those knees kind of shake out a little bit. So if you're in tabletop, just work to straighten your knees a little bit, especially your right one, since that was in pigeon for so long. Okay, everybody, down dog, left leg up, drop your right heel, bend your left knee, and instead of dropping the weight into your right shoulder, lift up your right armpit, left ankle towards right shoulder blade. Draw your left knee to your left wrist. Taking a moment to settle and notice what you're noticing as you move into this pose. Taking a moment to visualize your camel pose, where your shoulders rest, the openings in the front of the body. Take a deep breath in here, and this is slow, very slowly start to descend. Very slowly start to descend. Work your way over your front left foot. Blocks can be helpful, or fists, or wherever you want to go. Breathe into any resistance, likely in your left piriformis, that deep glute muscle. Creating spaces physically can create spaces emotionally, etc. They go hand in hand. That's the union, the yug, the union, the yoga. Bring yourself back to center and either enjoy staying on your forearms, your wrists, or coming into that deeper psoas stretch. Your top arm, your free arm is going to reach around, come to the inside of your foot, and you have a two-way force there. The foot pushes to the midline, and the hand resists out. Extra space in your shoulder, and in your hip, and in your psoas. I've shared this in previous videos, but the psoas is often known as the muscle of the emotion, where we store a lot of stuff. So that is an example of physical space that we're making there in that muscle can create some emotional space as well. Release your leg, hands to the mat, last down dog of your day. Maybe you want to pedal out your feet nice and slow. Take it gentle. Lower your knees to the mat. Walk your knees up behind one of your wrists so you can have a seat on the floor. Extend your legs out in front of you. Come into a stick pose, bring your fingers behind you, and drive the feet forward as though they're making footprints in the wall in front of you. A nice, basic, easy chest opener. I'm going to move into another option. If you'd rather stay here and just keep that breath going, that's a good choice. Place your feet on the floor, hands on the floor, lift your hips up, and you're in a reverse table. So we've got a lot of space now through the front of the body. Front of shoulders, front of pelvis, lower hips. Third choice, extend, half flex your feet, so it's kind of like they point, the balls of the feet push forward, and then lift your hips up into inclined plane. This tones the backside and stretches the front. If you prefer, you're still here or table. Keep breathing. Lower down to the front edge of your sits bones. Kind of rock yourself forward there or wiggle so you get on the front edge. If I'm on the back edge, I'm not going to get that space in my spine or my legs. Little bit important difference. Circle arms up, breathe in. I didn't grab my strap, but if you want yours, you can grab it, or just bring your fingertips to the floor. We're going to start easy. Bend your knees so that your spine can maintain the space. Maybe put a strap around your feet. Maybe bring your hands further back, because see, now I'm losing the space. Now I'm keeping the space. If or when your knees want you to, straighten them. There's the mind-body connection. Our mind and body are sharing this space on the mat, your mind and your body. So if you say, your mind says you want your knees straight because you want to be more flexible, but your body's not liking that, you can pull your hamstring. So allow your mind and body to just come into your forward fold. Maybe, I'm just giving you lots of options, maybe your hands come to your legs, to your feet, maybe you fold further. My hamstrings and calves are tight, so this is as far as I'm going to go. Maybe you go further. Feel that space all along the back line of the body. And breathe into it. Draw yourself upright. Draw your right knee in. We did this in the warm-up. Same thing we did in the warm-up, but you might feel a little more space now because you're warmed up. Interlace your hands around your right shin and assist your spine to length. Take your left hand to the outer right toes, and once again, I'm drawing the hand into the midline and pushing the foot out. Twist. Maybe work the leg towards straight. Sit tall. Bend your knee, untwist, and let's just change sides. Interlace, assist your lift of your spine, hand to outer foot, bend knee, reach and twist, maybe straighten. Lift, keep lifting. Keep breathing. Each inhale, opportunity to get more space lengthened. Each exhale, space between the vertebrae with a twist. Untwist. Extend your leg. Bring your hips toward your heels and let yourself roll down to your backside in Shavasana. You can take classic Shavasana. You can go back to the pose that we started with, a bridge supported Shavasana, restorative pose. You can put your arms wherever you choose. Okay, so pick your Shavasana. I'm going to read to you some quotes. They're not mine. And some of the names I can't pronounce. Some of them don't have names. But I don't want to take credit for them. When you let go of what no longer serves you, you create space for what's meant to be. That's my favorite. When you let go of what no longer serves you, you create space for what's meant to be. With each breath you take, you create space around your heart.
So let's do that for a moment. Take a breath in and create space around your heart, however you see that happening. Notice the space around your heart. Trust that you choose what enters this space. Trust that it's your choice to choose what enters this space. Now just let go, soften. When your mind is still, your body follows, and vice versa. So by allowing our mind to be still and soft, the mind can be still and soft as well. It's not easy. Sometimes we need to really coax it to do so. But know it's a healthy, harmonious thing for your mind and body. Appreciate those quiet spaces. Making space with your breath now. Breathe in for about 4 seconds. Now hold a pause right there. That's the quiet space. Now breathe out for about 4 seconds. And then hold the breath out, the quiet space. Breathe in. Hold the breath at the top of your inhalation and breathe out. Hold the breath out, that space there before you inhale. Okay, I'm going to stop cueing. Maybe you want to breathe in longer, maybe about 10 seconds, hold for about 5 seconds, and then breathe out. Or maybe you don't want to count at all and just observe those still spaces at the top of your inhale and the bottom of your exhale. We're going to let go of the pranayama, the breath control, and just observe the natural breath. Observe it now starting to move maybe a little bit faster because we're going to start to come out. If you're on a block, you can slide it out. Reach your arms and legs into a full body stretch. Yawn if you like. And then walk your feet along the floor to bring your knees into your chest. Draw up into a little ball so we have more space in the back of the spine. Release your head, and you go back to the movement we did in the warm-up where one knee circles and then the other knee circles, kind of random circles. And then reverse, nice and easy, gentle to your gentle movement for your hips, your spine, gentle movements for your finish. Knees come together. Drop both knees to the right side of your body. Take your time and push yourself up to a seated position. And bring your hands to your heart center. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. And have a great day or evening.